Are you getting excited about those longer summer days and warm evenings, but maybe a little bit concerned about how you're going to get to enjoy it since your kid goes to bed so early? Well, today you're in luck. I'm going to share some tips for how to move your kiddo's bedtime just a little bit later during those warm, fun-filled summer months, but still making sure that your child gets a great night's sleep. Yes. Now, you might think I've gone crazy. If you've been following along with me for a while, you know I'm always telling you to put your kid to bed nice and early. But I'm also a mom, and we have to be realistic that sometimes it's nice to stay up a little bit later, especially in these warm, sunny summer months. But we also have to be realistic that we're dealing with biology here, and getting your child the healthy sleep that they need really is our priority. I mean, you wouldn't try to get your kid to skip lunch because it just worked better for your schedule, right? No, that's ridiculous. Of course, you would never do that. So we need to think about your child's sleep needs in the same way. So the following tips are going to work best for kids who are already pretty good sleepers, meaning they go to bed at about the same time every night and they're sleeping for 10 to 12 hours straight through the night. So if this sounds like you, here is how you can move your kiddo's bedtime a little bit later for the summer without sacrificing their sleep. The first thing you're going to do is track your child's sleep for about 2 weeks before you make any changes. And what I mean by this is just take note of how much sleep they're getting every night. It should be somewhere between 10 to 12 hours. So if you see that your child really needs about 11 hours of sleep every night, and then through this process, you start to notice that they're actually getting 10 and a half hours of sleep, well, that's a red flag. Because once kids dip below their sleep needs, that's when you see all kinds of problems starting, like overnight wake-ups and kids who wake up super early, like in the 5 o'clock hour. Now that you know how much sleep your child needs, here's how you get started. You move bedtime 15 minutes later, and then you keep that bedtime for 5 days. And I want you to keep a sleep log while you're doing this process. Just keep a little journal, and I want you to note 2 important things. The first is how long it takes your kid to fall asleep. And the second thing is, what time are they waking up in the morning? Now, we want your child to be able to fall asleep easily at bedtime within about 20 minutes of lights out, and we want to make sure that they're sleeping naturally until at least 6 o'clock in the morning. So count up the hours of sleep that your child's getting. And if they're still getting that 11 hours of sleep that you know that they need, then you can move bedtime 15 minutes later and then keep that bedtime for the next 5 days. Keep your same sleep log so that you're making sure that they're getting the amount of sleep that you know that they need. Now, just to set your expectations, it's unlikely that kids under the age of 6 are going to have a bedtime later than about 8:30. I really want you to treat this process like an experiment, so keeping that sleep log is really important. And here are 3 signs that the later bedtime really isn't working out. The first is if your child's total sleep decreases below what you know that they need. So if it was 11 hours and then all of a sudden you see it consistently get to 10 and a half or 10 hours, then that's a red flag that the bedtime has gotten a little bit too late for what their body actually needs. The second sign is that it's taking your child a really long time to fall asleep at bedtime. If it takes them longer than 30 minutes to fall asleep, bedtime's probably too late. And the last sign is if your child starts waking up before 6 o'clock in the morning, that's another sign that bedtime is just too late. So if you see these things start to happen, move bedtime earlier again because you don't want to get your child caught in a really bad cycle of overtiredness. When kids are good sleepers, they can actually be more flexible with their sleep schedule. So if you can keep bedtime consistent like 90% of the time, then good sleepers can handle staying up late every now and then. If you've got a late night pool party or a neighbor's barbecue to go to, they can stay up a little later without throwing their whole sleep schedule off. Now, heading into summer, if you don't have a great sleeper, you want to check out this video.